Let me ask you a question. What's a genre that's as unpredictable as it is exciting? It is isekai. This year, the genre has gone all out, throwing us into even crazier fantasy worlds that are ready to blow your mind. So today we're presenting you with the best new isekai anime with the sickest animation and the best plot. Starting off with number 10, The New Gate. The New Gate is an anime that will give you Sword Art Online vibes, no cap. But hey, it changed entirely later on. You see, Shin and thousands of other players had been trapped inside a life or death game named The New Gate. Thanks to our boy Shin, the hero of the day, the final boss gets yeeted out of existence and everyone's like, oh hey, sweet, ready to go home, live our lives. But hold up, the plot twist is coming. Instead of going back to his original world with the other players, Shin is transported to an entirely different world. So what's next for Shin? Well, he's about to embark on a new journey that's definitely not going to be a cakewalk. Overall, this anime has a lot of potential if executed right because the manga is just phenomenal. Also, the animation is pretty crisp and the atmospheric feel the animators have created is just magical. If the animators manage to maintain that mystical feel throughout, fans of the manga and newcomers alike are sure to be in for an unforgettable ride. So here's hoping. Moving on, we have the weakest Tamer began a journey to pick up trash. You know, this one is exactly what it sounds like. Well, sort of. But do you know one thing that isn't trash? The animation. So, it goes like this. Ivy was transported into a world where skills and stars are very important. But hey, Ivy's given the lamest starting powers imaginable. She gets abused by her once loving family for not being useful and decides to escape. So, what does she do? Ivy doesn't give up. I mean, come on, she's a protagonist after all. Instead of moping around and being the weakest Tamer, she does what any resourceful underdog would do. She makes the best out of literally the worst. Her companion? A slime. Yeah, not exactly the beast of legends, but hey, it's loyal and kinda cute. The charm of the weakest Tamer comes from Ivy's determination and her ability to turn even the most mundane task, like picking up trash, into a stepping stone to survival. So while it's not the most explosive animation, it's got this oddly satisfying and wholesome appeal that make even picking up garbage feel like an adventure. Honestly, pun intended, the simple, crisp art style feels like a perfect match for Ivy's scrappy underdog journey. Up next, Villainess, level 99.
でも結局倒されてしまう。そんな私に存在意義はあるんだろうか。だが、私は考えた。
This is a classic Villainess Otome game that takes it to level 99. Literally. The story starts off with Yumiella being reincarnated into her favorite Otome game. But here's where things get spicy. Instead of being the sweet innocent heroine destined for love and roses, Yumiella finds herself as the villainess. And not just any villainess, she's the hidden boss. The one you're supposed to defeat to score that picture-perfect 100% happy ending. Yumiella, being a gamer girl, accidentally maxes out her level before anyone even knows what hit them. Oops! Yumiella's plan to avoid her doom crumbles right in front of her, considering how she only wants to live a low-key life. As the most overpowered girl in the country, she gains a lot of unnecessary attention. It's very unexpected how good this isekai story is. Sure, you'd think that it's going to be the typical villainess trying to dodge her downfall, but Villainess level 99 flips that premise on its head. So while Villainess level 99 doesn't always take itself too seriously, the animation still brings all the magic, sparkles, and epic level chaos to the table.
許せない。私一人ならともかく。パトリックに当たったらどうしてくれるんだ。
Coming up, the wrong way to use healing magic.
犬神先輩ってひょっとしてそういうの好きな人？でそれが。
You know, this anime honestly sounds like you giving somebody a hammer and they just use a frying pan instead. Usato, our main protagonist, gets accidentally summoned to another world when only his classmates, including Suzune and Inukami, were supposed to be summoned. But while his friends get the classic hero and mage role, Usato, well, he gets stuck with the role of a healer. Now what? Usato ends up being in the hands of a terrifying commander named Rose, who trains him to be on the front lines of battle, all depending on his healing magic. So instead of getting all cozied up in a nice little medical tent, Usato is thrown into the wildest training of his life. The pacing of this anime is spot on. Rather than relying on flashy action sequences or dramatic twists to grab your attention, it kind of takes its time, gradually revealing important plot points. This approach keeps you engaged, making you anticipate what lies ahead. If you're a fan of Isekai, you might get a sense of deja vu watching this show. The animation also shines in the more relaxed world-building scenes, with vibrant towns, lush landscapes, and magical creatures that make you feel like you've been transported right into the heart of a colorful Isekai universe. Moving on to No Longer Allowed in Another World. Now, this anime has a pretty different concept from other isekais. You see, our protagonist, Osamu Dazai, who's better known as Sensei, is a suicidal writer who was summoned to another world. But who summoned him? A priestess named Annette, who also happens to be an elf. Annette, with her high hopes and elfin charm, is absolutely stunned by Sensei's complete disinterest in saving the world. Meanwhile, Sensei's primary mission seems to be self-destruction, which is pretty hilarious in its own right. Along the way, they meet a cat girl named Tamer. Together, the trio sets off on a bizarre adventure that's less about epic battles, but more about dodging the hero responsibility Sensei so desperately avoids. If you're looking for a nice anime that's a bit Konosuba but with a darker twist, No Longer Allowed in Another World is your pick. Overall, the animation doesn't rely on big, flashy action sequences, but focuses on character expressions, interactions, and the contrasting vibes between Sensei's bleak outlook on the world around him. Alright.
今わかった
You know what to do, right? You know that scroll bar on your mouse? If you could just, there you go. Hit that like button. And you know what? The subscribe button too, notification bell while you're down there. All right, thanks. Let's check the top 5. All right, let's see here. Next up is, as a reincarnated aristocrat, I'll use my appraisal skill to rise in the world. And man, those titles just keep getting longer. Yeah, these isekai anime with the aristocrats always have something up their sleeve. Meet ours, a boy born in the noble Luvent family. But this boy used to be an ordinary Japanese office worker in his previous life. Now in this new world, he's given the skill to appraise the talents and aptitudes of other people. With this unique power, our boy doesn't waste any time and recruits some of the most top-notch individuals skilled in magic, strategy, swordsmanship, and diplomacy to become his loyal allies. And guess what? Thanks to his impressive moves and savvy recruiting, Ars quickly earns the title of Lord of Canary. But the fun does not stop there. He soon finds himself leading his newly formed team into a war against the neighboring duchy of Sate, all while preparing for a major power struggle over the throne. With so many shows about people being reincarnated as nobles, it's kind of refreshing to see one that stands out. Instead of the usual overpowered hero fighting demon armies, the appraisal skill focuses on building a nation by recruiting talented people whom society has overlooked. Also, the absolute selling point of the anime is its characters. Overall, the animation complements the tone of the show beautifully. Elegant, crisp, and ready to bring some noble flair into the world of Isekai.
よりこの私がローベット家の当主となる
まさに俺が望んでいるものさ。
And now we have Suicide Squad Isekai. Genuinely an anime that took me by surprise when it came out. This show takes the chaotic energy of a Suicide Squad and merges it with a fantasy world. In this isekai anime, our favorite anti-heroes get a magical makeover, and we can't get enough. You see, Amanda Waller, the head of Argus, assembles a squad of some of the most notorious criminals, including Harley Quinn, Clayface, Deadshot, Peacemaker, and King Shark, then sends them into a magical realm. on a mission. They're not alone though. Argus agent Rick Flag joins them on this perilous mission. Their job? To help a kingdom fend off both mythical beasts and rival supervillains who were dumped into the world before them. Also, if they don't finish their mission on time or try to escape, the bombs embedded in their body will just go off. It's a fun and action-packed series that'll keep you on the edge of your seats. The animators didn't just drop the squad into a typical fantasy world. No. They went for a visually rich, mystical realm with glowing forests, enchanted castles, and towering magical creatures. Every magical spell or superpowered attack comes with a crisp, vibrant effect that lights up the screen, keeping the energy levels quite high. And opening up the top 3 is Monster. We're introduced to Tomokui Kanata, who's reincarnated into a fantasy world, not seen as an OP swordsman, but just as a lowly goblin. Not just any goblin, though. He's got a plan to rise through the ranks and show everyone that goblins can be a lot more than just cannon fodder. Our protagonist, now a goblin named Rock, is on a quest to grow stronger and smarter. He starts off with the usual goblin gear, minimal brains, and a lot of grit, but quickly gets the hang of his unique ability to absorb the traits and powers of creatures he defeats. As Roke evolves, he gathers a quirky team of monsters, each with their own wild abilities, and together they take on bigger and badder foes. Monster is the kind of anime that's a gem in comfortable storytelling. It's also one of the best manga adaptations to ever exist. The character designs, especially for Rock and his quirky team of monsters, are top-notch. The goblins, trolls, and various fantasy creatures aren't just your standard cookie-cutter designs. Each one looks distinct, with detailed textures and unique visual elements that make them stand out. Just missing our top spot is Ishura. This is the kind of isekai anime that will keep you hooked until the end. When the Demon King finally dies, chaos breaks out as wannabe demon lords from across the multiverse flock to Lithia, each itching to claim the throne. Enter Sojiro Yagyu, a master swordsman with a serious mission, and his new ally, Yuno, a girl he rescued from a golem apocalypse. Together, they're slicing and dicing their way through challenges to grab that much-wanted crown. Meanwhile, the Aretia Kingdom is stirring up trouble by sending bandits to mess with Lithia's trade. Furious, Lithia's founder, Imashine of Taran, sends the sneaky thief Kasasage no Dakai to find out who's behind the chaos. With everyone gunning for power and tension soaring, it's anyone's guess how this epic showdown will shake out. This isekai anime is a gem for anyone who likes dark fantasy and deep storytelling. In short, Ishura's animation isn't just eye candy. It enhances the dark, tension-filled atmosphere of the story. It draws you in with smooth, detailed character movements and leaves you breathless with epic magical showdowns that pop off the screen.
信じられねえ。おめえの言った通りだな。やっぱ剣士じゃねえわ、おめえ。願わくば、もっと学びたかった。極めたかった。
And at the top spot, number 1, we have Reincarnated as the 7th Prince. Imagine being an ordinary sorcerer with no special lineage or magical talent, only to meet a not-so-glorious end in a duel. That's exactly what happened to our protagonist who, after dying, opens his eyes again and finds himself reborn as Lloyd, the 7th Prince of the Kingdom of Salome. Now, in his new lavish life, he's surrounded by all the perks of royalty, and more importantly, has the ability to learn and master any magic he desires. Thanks to the knowledge and memories from his past life, Lloyd has the upper hand in everything he does. He's not just any prince. He's also a sorcerer who can now bend the magic to his will, enjoying a life where his skills are unmatched and his opinions matter little to him. In essence, Reincarnated as the 7th Prince delivers some top-notch animation that enriches the magical world and character interactions. It's not just about how visually impressive it is, but also how well the animation serves the story, making each scene more engaging and delightful.
なんだその魔力量は！うわー
With that, we'll wrap up the list of the best new isekai anime with the sickest animation. There is tons of anime out there like this, so I'm sure we missed some of your favorites. Don't keep us hanging though. Be sure to comment down below any anime you think should have made this list. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and sub to see more of this juicy content. See you next time.